welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for coming back. Those of you that have already done so, thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that bell and the notification, and subscribe and the notification bell so that you're notified every time I upload a new video. As you've already guessed from the title of this video, this is a video to give you some tips and tricks on how you can pass your Nclex in the year of 2020. Those of you already know I've already graduated and taken the boards. I've been a nurse for a few years now, and I'm just trying to pay it forward and just let you guys know what I did that helped me to pass the board. So if you want to find out more information about how you can pass the boards, then go ahead and you can stay tuned and listen to the rest of this video. First and foremost, I just want to say congratulations to the class of 2020. We did it! So those of you that graduated this year already know that because of everything going on out there, unfortunately some of you were not able to walk down the graduation aisle. That's not something that often happens, but unfortunately that is the world that we live in right now. Some of you were able to have the opportunity to get some sort of a modified graduation where you got to do a drive-by. You were in your car and then they would call your name and then you went up and then you were recognized that way, but some of you were not. Rest assured, nursing is a very rewarding career, so there are going to be so many times where you're going to feel appreciated and rewarded in this career, so don't feel left out that you didn't get to walk down the aisle this year. I have my stuff, I have notes for you guys of how I, step by step of how I ended up doing so well on my board. Long story short, I took my boards and I took the whole entire exam in about maybe an hour and 30 minutes, and I believe I did take one 15-minute break. If not, yeah, I believe I did take one 15-minute break during my boards. I did end up passing. I did extremely well, and I'm going to show you guys the software, the study prep materials that I did use. I have everything written down in my notes, so I'll be looking down in my notes, so I'll be looking down on my iPad. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to give yourself a deadline. So some schools already released the dates for you to register, and I'm going to show you how to do it if your school has not given you the approval codes yet. So if your school has already given you the approval code, congratulations. Go ahead and go on the website and go ahead and register. Now if your school has not given you the approval codes, you're going to have to follow these other steps. So pretend that you have a date, a test date, and by pretend I mean put in your head that you're going to take this exam. So let's say you graduated May 31st. Tell yourself, okay, by July 1st, I'm going to go and sit for my boards. I know 30 days might seem a bit of a stretch, and I know that some of you might need a little bit more time, but my rationale for why I recommend to study for 30 days is because of this. First and foremost, when you study, you start to forget things that you learned from week 1, okay? So let's say you started with maternity. By the time you get to med-surg and fundamentals or psych, the detailed information that you took your time to learn in maternity, you're gonna start to forget it. That's just a fact. So because you don't want to ruin your retention, your memory retention, what you will do is you will try to shorten the time that you're gonna go and sit for your exam. So what I did was I gave myself 30 days to study for boards and then go and take my exam. And it worked out really well because when I got to the exam, stuff that I studied from week 1 was still fresh in my brain. Whereas if I would have prolonged it, you will see you'll start to forget. The other reason why you need to give yourself a small deadline is because you just came fresh out of school. And some of us, I don't know about you, but the last class I took in my senior year, my last semester of senior year was Med-Surg 2. So if you're like me and you took Med-Surg 2 in your last semester, why would you wait so long for everything you studied already for finals in Med-Surg 2 and exit exam that you already have embedded in your brain so fresh? Why would you want to wait so long before that information starts to disintegrate in your brain before you go and you take the exam? So the best thing is, while it's still fresh in your head, Try to study within the month of June so that there's less for you to study and there's less for you to it's easier for you to remember the stuff that you just studied this semester. The thing you're going to want to do is choose which prep agency you want to work with. Now, I am standing by this company. I am not sponsoring. I'm not sponsored by them, but I will have to say that the company that I used to prep me for my boards was Uworld. Not only did I use Uworld while I was in school, I used Uworld after I graduated. Now, when I was in school, I used a combination of Uworld and Saunders Nclex review. So let's say I was taking maternity and pediatrics. I will go into Uworld and do the maternity and pediatrics questions for that, in addition to questions from Saunders, so that when it came time for me to take exams for school, I definitely was I was over prepared for each exam. So for each exam in nursing school, what I did was I would do about 1,000 to 1,500 questions for one exam in nursing school. I know some people have some concerns that, oh, if you expose your eyes to the questions from Uworld while you're in school, is it okay to expose yourself to Uworld questions while you're in school, because then you memorize the answers? Actually, you don't, because I have gotten questions right when I was in school and gotten them wrong after when I was studying for boards, and vice versa. So no, I went with Uworld, and then the second thing I went with was Kaplan. So I will show you exactly how I did what I did. So I use Uworld as my main focus form of study. Uworld comes with about 2,500 questions, and they're broken down into different sections, right? So what you would do is you will go into Uworld, and then I would study based on topic. Do not interchange topics, like do a little bit of fundamentals and a little bit of maternity. No. Tell yourself that if you're working on fundamentals, you're going to finish that section. If you're working on maternity, you're going to finish that section. Do not interchange.
So I went ahead and I added a screen share of the Uworld website so you guys know what it looks like. So when you go to Uworld, you're going to scroll down to nursing. You're going to hit get started. You're going to select Nclex RN. And then you're going to select buy now. There are different options. 30 days for $129. Guys, I swear to you, it was like $60 when I was in school. They know that the program is really good, so it looks like they've increased their pricing, but it's still a lot cheaper than the competitor. So there's this. We're gonna go back, and then we're going to do the demo version so that you guys can see what the software looks like. So continue demo. You can see that there's adult health, child health, critical care. It gives you your performance metrics, your flashcards, which I never used, notes, fundamentals, leadership, and all these other topics from school. And then it breaks it down into bodily systems, which I hardly ever use. And then it looks like there's 2184 questions on here as well. The body systems I don't use simply because if I'm taking MedSurg 1 or whatever, I just like to focus on the course as opposed to the system. So you want to also be mindful that you're doing this in tutor mode. That way, when you answer a question, you can see the answer choices right away when you are practicing. So just make sure you're going section by section, maternity, fundamentals, etc.
The reason why I say that is because the way the mind tends to work is you want to categorize all the information concerning maternity into one group, one block in your mind, so that when you see a question on maternity, you will remember that block as a whole, as opposed to remembering bits of maternity, bits of pharmacology, bits of MedSurg in it. So that's how I studied. Now, don't come at me in the comments asking me, saying that, well, that's not right. This is what I did, and this is what helped me to do extremely well on my board. So once you've gone through all the 2,500 questions on Uworld, the next thing that you want to do is, about a week or a week and a half before your exam, I will purchase the Kaplan material. You don't want to start the Kaplan material until after you finish all the 2,500 questions. I use Uworld for building my content. Okay? It definitely solidified my ability to build my content. Now, with Kaplan, the reason what I purchased from the Kaplan website is called the CAT exam. That is the computer adaptive exam. Now, what the CAT exam does is, the computer adaptive is a computer adaptive test, and it functions in the same manner as your boards. So what it will do is, anytime that you get to a certain question number, the computer will also shut off, just like the real exam. It's just like the real exam, where you're answering questions, and based on your performance and how well you're doing on these questions, the exam will say will either progress or it will shut down. So with me, I ended up having to do 3 computer adaptive tests before test day. And the first one I scored 75, the second one I scored 80, and the third one I scored 75. The computer shut off on these Kaplan computer adaptive tests in that order. So the decision of which test prep you're going to use. I'm recommending Uworld and Kaplan. I didn't use Kaplan as my main study source because I found that the way they set up their prep does not work for me. With Kaplan, what I did find is there were a lot of similarities in the way Kaplan phrases their questions compared to the actual boards. Now that you've decided which prep company you want to use, you want to familiarize yourself with the Nclex. So you want to know, how long is the Nclex? What's the longest time you can sit there and actually take this exam? What is the shortest amount of time you can sit there and actually take the exam? What are your designated breaks like? How long are each breaks gonna be? Do you need an ID to get in? If so, what form of governmental issue ID do they require? What kind of clothing do I wear? Am I allowed to bring in a sweater into the room? Am I allowed to take off my sweater in the room? You want to familiarize yourself with the exam. Take it a step further and call the exam location. Ask them these questions. What are the rules and regulations for this location? Now, when you register, they send you confirmation emails, but I'm more paranoid, so I like to hear it from somebody that actually works there so that I know that the information that's being communicated to me is accurate. So what I did was I got on the phone and I called the testing site and I spoke to a representative there, and they actually told me everything that I needed to bring, what I'm allowed to bring, what I'm not allowed to bring. If I bring in a sweater into the room, I can't take it off, or can I hang on the chair or something like that. It was something along those lines. But call the exam location just to find out what rules and regulations they have for that location. The other thing you would want to do probably a week before your exam is drive or take the transportation to the exam site. The reason why I say that is it reduces anxiety on test day. Okay, when you have an idea of exactly where you're going, the room you're going to be going to, what kind of procedure you're going to be experiencing, it releases a lot of tension on the day you have to take the exam. So I would recommend that you drive to the test site, go ahead and look around how you're going to get there, how long it's going to take, what if there's traffic, how long is it going to take for me to get there. Make sure you drive around just to see how the location will be, how cold the room will be, so that you know how to dress appropriately. The next thing that you can do, you're going to want to set up a study schedule. Yes, I mean it, a study schedule. We're not playing games here. We're in it to win. What's the point of going to nursing school if you're not going to pass your boards? So I find that when you put your goals and visions in writing, you're more likely to adhere to them. So that goes the same with studying for boards. Write a study schedule, a sample study schedule that I can recommend. Maybe you could tell yourself, like, if you're doing this in 30 days, right? Give yourself 8 hours a day for 30 days, okay? So in that 8 hours, obviously, you're not going to sit there for a full 8 hours and study. That's not going to be very productive. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to break up that study session. So you're going to do 4 increments. You're going to do 4 increments of 2 hours study time. Hour of study, you're going to take a 10-minute break, and then the second hour, you're going to go ahead and take a 1-hour break. So let's say you start studying at 7 a.m. So from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., you're going to study. And then from 8 a.m. to 8:10, you took your first 10-minute break. And then the second study session is going to be from 8:10 all the way to 9:10. And then you take a 1-hour break from 9:10 all the way to 10:10, and then continue into the second sequence in the same order. You're doing this because you want to give your brain a mental break. You don't want to put on too much into your brain at once, because it's going to get overloaded and it's going to be hard for you to commit things into your long-term study. If you're one of those people, you're not able to study for long sessions because you tend to lose focus, you can go ahead and you can check out my Pomodoro study method, and you can follow the Pomodoro study methods. Just make sure you're getting your 8 hours of study time a day. The other thing that's important while you're studying is you want to make sure that you dedicate 1 day a week where you say, this day I'm only going to study for 2 hours, and I'm going to give the rest of the day to myself for self-care or whatever you need to do. The reason why is because you do not want to crash and burn for boards, okay? You don't want to overwhelm yourself with studying. You don't want to be overly stressed. So go ahead and give yourself that 1 day a week. The other thing I would recommend is exercise. As we all know, exercise releases endorphins in the body, and when you have endorphins released, you're happier in general. So you want to go ahead and exercise because it gives you mental clarity. So what I would do is I would do like a 30-minute workout in the morning 5 days a week. And then on the days off, I would definitely do some sort of a pamper routine where I would get my nails done, a mani-pedi, or some sort of a back massage. As I'm going through and I'm studying, I'm keeping mind of a couple of things. And the number one thing is I never study in exam mode. I always study in practice mode. The reason why I study in practice mode is because I can see my answer if it's right or wrong. I can also see the rationale while the question and the answer choices are still fresh in my mind, and why I chose my answer is still fresh in my mind, versus exam mode when I have completely forgotten things after doing all the other questions. So you want to also keep in mind that before you start using Uworld, there's an assessment exam. You want to take that assessment exam, and then because it will let you gauge where you are prior. Do not skim out on it. I know people that like to skim out on it. I don't recommend that. You want to take the assessment exam early on so you know where you stand. Once you've taken the assessment exam and you went ahead and you've done all your 2,500 questions, you have a post exam, and I believe they give you 2 post exams. So with those 2 post exams, you want to keep in mind that with those 2 post exams, you want to keep in mind that however you do on those post exams is very accurate to how you will do on the actual boards. So if you do not do well on those post exams, my recommendation is take a step back and see where you can improve before you go and you take the actual exam. The post exam puts you in a certain percentile of how well you're gonna do on the boards. Now, they say that if you score, I think in the 50, it's very low. If you score in the 50th percentile or something like that, I'll put comment here if that's not inaccurate. But if you score in the 50th percentile, then they say that anything 50 and above, you are definitely going to pass the boards. But if you score below that threshold, then you're not going to pass. So that means you have to re-strategize and study again. So when I took the post exam, the first one I scored in the 90th percentile, and the second one I scored in the 95th percentile. So that was a clear indication that I was definitely not only going to pass the boards, that I was going to pass the boards with flying colors. So people that pass the Uworld post test, and they tend to pass right around the average, they tend to maybe pass maybe in like the hundreds or whatever. But if you're scoring like 90s, 80s percentile, then that means you're walking out of there 75 questions, hour and 15 minutes, you're done. You're gonna get, you're gonna get your license. They're going to license you. So the answer choices are gonna, if the question is asking you what color is the sky, the answer choices are gonna be 4, right? So answer choice 1 is gonna say the sky is blue. Answer choice 2 is going to say the sky is orange. Answer choice 3 is going to say the sky is black. And then answer choice 4 is going to say the sky is gray. So, if you notice, that question is asking, what is the color of the sky in the daytime? So if the question is asking you what is the color of the sky in the daytime, I know scientifically it's not really blue, but for the sake of this video, let's just pretend the color of the sky is blue. Okay, so if the color of the sky during the daytime is blue, you're gonna choose the answer choice blue. So you choose the answer choice blue, and Uworld goes ahead and marks you correct. What you're gonna do is you're gonna look at the answer choice. Why is it that the sky is blue in the daytime? And then you're not going to just skip to the next question, because you're not being productive. You're going to look at answer choice 2. Answer choice 2 said the sky was orange, right? It tells you that at sunset, the color of the sky is orange. So what you're going to do is you're going to commit that to memory. That is new information that perhaps you didn't know before, or you did. Either way, you're going to make sure you know it now, right? Answer choice 3 says the sky is black. What you're going to do now is you're going to do the same thing. You're going to see why answer choice 3 is saying the sky is black. Answer choice 3 is saying the sky is black at night because there is no sun there to light it up. So the sky is black. Guys, be mindful, we're not including the moon, we're not adding the stars, we're keeping it basic. So at night the sky is black, pitch black. So then, now you commit that into your mind, and now you know, oh, okay, the sky is pitch black at night, but sometimes the moon and the sun and the moon and the stars will put a little twinkle of light into the sky that's black. You didn't know that information, but now you do. So then answer choice 4 says the color of the sky is gray. So now this color, it tells you that when on a cloudy day, when it's about to rain, the sky might change color, and it might be the color gray because of precipitation. So now you not only know that the color of the sky is blue during the day, you've learned all these other new 3 things. That is how you use rationales to build on content. That is why using questions to build content is an amazing and quick way to learn. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it was really helpful to you guys, and I'm wishing you good luck on your exams, those of you that are about to take it, and those of you that are watching it to pass the information to other people. I hope it was helpful. Comment down below if you guys have any other questions about it, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.